Let's fucking go.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Comic Game Movie Show. My name is Deshaun, and today I'm here to review Agatha All Along, episode 3. Now this show, Agatha, last 2 episodes were very fun, but we're finally here. We are on the Witch's Road, and this picks up in the immediate aftermath of them escaping the Salem 7 and going through the door or the steps and walking the Witch's Road. Now, we get into the nitty-gritty. We get this entire episode is about the first trial, which is, spoiler alert, maybe, a potions trial, as it turns out. And the chemistry between the witches is just, it's even more fun. You got a little glimpse of them, how they were going to interact together for a second there, but just the interplay between these women is just fun. And even the kid, the teen, which we still don't know his name yet, though many of us are kind of under assumptions of who he's probably going to end up being. But even the teen is his interplay, his youthfulness into this group is fun. Like I say, Agatha and the teen's chemistry is a lot like, and a lot of people have said this as well, is a lot like an aunt and her nephew or something like that. Not quite a mom and a son, but like I say, an aunt and a nephew, or it's something along those lines, or a master and a protege, something like that. But their chemistry it's instant, and I love the relationship between Agatha and the teen from the very beginning, and it's still strong here. The relationship between Agatha and all the other witches, from Jennifer to Lilia and Alice, even these relationships, because all 3 of the witches, including Mrs. Hart, who isn't a witch, or Miss Davis, Sharon Davis, but you know, we're gonna just call her Miss Hart for short. All of them know who Agatha is. They know about Agatha. A lot of them, one of them has history with Agatha, and the other 2 just know of her. Particularly Lilia, who knows of her reputation, who knows who Agatha is. As she stated in the last episode, Agatha has done so much terrible shit over the centuries that she is nearly solely responsible for the bad reputation that witches have in pop culture. So clearly, if they all didn't have something they really need to get from walking this road, they wouldn't even be associating with Agatha. And the thing is, Catherine Hahn. So when I reviewed episode 1 and 2, one of the things I was talking about Catherine Hahn's Agatha and the WandaVision show was, I remember I said, I love a villain who's an asshole, and who's just an unabashed asshole. They're not apologizing. They're not coming up with a whole excuse for why they're an asshole. They're just an asshole. And they take glee in being an asshole. And Catherine Hahn is still playing Agatha like an asshole. The one thing that I love so far about this show is, 3 episodes in, Agatha isn't a good person. They did not soften her edges. They haven't added new context to make you go, oh, I'll understand. No, she is still the Agatha Hart. This isn't a Loki situation. You know, remember Loki came out? When Loki came out, this is supposed to be Avengers Loki. This is fresh Avengers trying to take over the world Loki. But within maybe a couple episodes, he wasn't that guy. He really wasn't that guy anymore. He was still kind of an opportunist. But by the time him and Moby, by the time he meets Sylvie and whatnot, he isn't that guy. They soften his edges a little bit. He's not as hardcore. Whereas I thought Loki, which I still love Loki. I still love season 2. I love Loki. But one thing that it wasn't, which was what I was hoping for, was a straight up story about a villain, right? It was about a villain. And you know, obviously there might be a redemption-ish thing near the end. But I thought it was going to be a story about, but I thought he was going to be more of a villain up front, at least. Sorry. I thought I heard something. Helicopter going overhead. Anyways. But Agatha, they kept her a villain. Throughout this entire episode, she is trying to manipulate. She is trying to escape. She is trying to leave people behind. She is just being a straight up, she's not being a team player is the best way to put it. She's being the opposite. Agatha said there is an I in win, but either way. So her performance in this is very fun. Also, to stay on Agatha, this is just maybe a little bit more theory, I don't think she walked the road. Because one of the premises of why these witches are even willing to walk this, other than what they want, is apparently, according to a lot of people, according to the other witches, and according to the team, it is basically common knowledge among witches that Agatha walked the road, and that's why she has her power. At least that's what they think. Now, I could be wrong, and me and many other people could be wrong, but I have, like, watching this, the way she keeps acting. They ask her questions about the road. What are we doing? Where are we going? And she gives very, what's the word I'm looking for? Just abstract answers. She gives very broad answers. Just very broad answers that don't actually say anything. Now, granted, she does say that the road changes for the coven, so the road fits the coven. It's not just like one thing, and it's like, so the road changes its layout to fit the coven. Now, granted, it seems like she was right about the idea that the road is a testing ground. It's like there's a test, because she says that the road is going to test your knowledge of witchcraft, which obviously potion making is one of the top ones. And that even plays into very smartly to why they need specific witches, because the road will test you in specific things. So you need a diversity of witches. So I dig that. But the way she acts, the way she overreacts, the way she's trying to escape, you would think someone who had been through this before would be the most calm person in the room, but instead, she is almost the least calm person in the room. She's, like I said, like, the way she acts, I'm just gonna go on a limb and say, it is gonna be revealed, maybe even next episode, she did not walk this path. And who knows how she got because, like, we were kind of going on the assumption that, at least I was, that she walked the path, and that's how she got the Darkhold. Now, I'm thinking it had to be something totally different. Now, in this episode, the potion episode, there are some funny bits. Obviously, Mrs. Hart is this the comic highlight, from her losing her purse and saying she got this from, what did she say? She got this from Kohl's? I can't remember what she said she got that from. To her just trying to be polite, and she's just trying to push through this situation. I mean, the episode starts off top with her being like, y'all kidnapped me! Like, she is having a day. And honestly, if you watch it through her eyes, it's almost a horror movie. But either way, she is fun. She's bringing the comedic joy. And we also get a ton of reveals. A lot of reveals. First of all, they finally fucking said his name. Mephisto! As someone on Rockstar would say, confirmed. Yes, Mephisto has been said. He has been announced. Agents of Mephisto exist, apparently, in this world. And we've all kind of, like, if you've been keeping up, know that Marvel may or may not have cast Mephisto already, and he may or may not be an Ironheart. But he also might, maybe, make an appearance in this show, which is already adding to the excitement. The mystery around the teen is the big thing, though, because we get revealed that Agatha may have sacrificed her child to get the Darkhold. And that's why Jennifer's telling him not to trust her, because you never know. She sacrificed her son to get the Darkhold. She might sacrifice you too. But the mystery around the teen is something I'm going to make a complete other video about, because there's so many theories and so many different ways they could go with that I don't want to blow this video up by talking about it. But I'm just telling you right now, he could be Billy. He could be Billy Kaplan, Wanda's son. Or he could be Nicholas Scratch, but I'll talk about that in a separate video. So that was cool. Seeing so the trial that the witches ended up having to take is, they all had to drink a bottle of wine. Agatha was being a hard ass about it for a while, trying to avoid it, but eventually she even ended up having to drink a glass of wine. And this glass of wine was poisoned. And the task is, you have to identify the poison, and then you have to create the ingredient. So Jennifer is a potions expert, so using her and the other witches, they had to go around the fucking house, find ingredients to make the potion with, which obviously witchcraft is fun in that way, where it can be kind of loose about the ingredients. Like, I love how some of these names, some of the ingredients have these over-the-top names. Like, there's this one thing that's like the guts of a social bug, like the guts of a social bug, and what they really meant was honey. Like, so I love that. I love that. The guts of a social bug. What they really mean is honey. So things of that nature. So the funness with creating the potion was cool. But the real kicker of this episode, the big thing, the highlight of it is the hallucinations. They were actual horror. This show is we all kind of had a feeling the show was going to have a horror element to it. If you see some of the stuff in the trailer, there's a lot of harkening back. And honestly, from just the house, the summer house they go into, and the change of clothes and whatnot, and the weird vibe to all of that, the weird, like there's so much, they're working with a lot here. From the practical sets that harken back to the Wizard of Oz, and like a lot of that is done on purpose. From because the house, it's something that you might not also know, the house, that first shot of the house in the episode, that's a scale. That's like an actual, created figure. Like, I can't remember what they call those back in the day. Like, that's some shit Tim Burton would do. Like, have a actual scale and it just kind of like widens out. So, but it looks cool. It looks cool in the distance. So there's so much practical effects going on here. There's there's so much artistry in it, and it's so fucking witty. I mean, there's so many references to Hansel and Gretel, to the Wizard of Oz, Big Little Liars. Like, there's so much going on in this show that it perplexes me when I hear certain people's comments. I'm like, bro, if you think that, you ain't paying attention. There's a lot happening right now. But the highlight is the hallucinations from the witches. You get a glimpse of Jennifer, maybe the guy who took her abilities from her. You get a glimpse of Alice's mother and her thinking that her family is cursed and she can't protect her daughter. And you get a glimpse of Lilia's past self. We don't know what any of this means. We haven't really seen more of it. But seeing a glimpse onto why these witches are on this path, why they're doing what they're doing, we got it. Like, it's like they already said why up top in the episode 2 and in the beginning of this episode, but really getting a visceral image of it is very good. Also, it may or may not have confirmed that Agatha really did sacrifice her son for the Darkhold. It's hard to really tell whether or not it was true. In the episode, I don't want to spoil anything. The episode just came out yesterday, so I might talk about it a little bit more when I do my other video. But either way, I enjoyed the hell out of this episode. This was the best episode of the show so far. I'd probably give it another 8.5. The show is going very strong. The viewership's strong on it. It's got a strong 82% on Tomatoes. I'm very optimistic about the direction this show is going. And I've seen a little bit, not clips, but images from next week's episode. And if they're going, spoiler alert, minor spoiler, Evil Dead. Anyways, thank you guys for joining me on the Comic Game Movie Show. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Comment below. What did you think of Agatha All Along episode 3? I loved it. I thought it was a great twist. They added more context, even more mystery. I mean, they fucking finally name dropped Mephisto. Not just, hey, Mephisto. No, like, they talked about it like, oh no, this is an entity. This is a real entity that is around here somewhere. And I'm so excited about that. We may see him later in the show. Who knows? Either way, thank you guys again. See you on the next one. Goodbye.